here we have a question from Marco. He wants to resize and move or animate a picture movement. So we will show him how to do that. A fairly easy process. Yeah, I've taken a couple of your pictures or a couple of stickers out of the Halloween collection there, and put it together with one of my own photos. So you want to reduce the pictures to about 20%. Well, I guess it's irrelevant what percentage I put them to because the process is the same. It looks like your screen is in the classic layout as opposed to the default layout. So I will try to show you so that things appear in the same location. So you know how to resize, and let's just put this this picture in here in the beginning. Okay, the graveyard. I thought that would go kind of cool here. And when we double click on it, then we can go into the transform section. The only thing you're missing is the keyframe. That's all you need to do. But let's scale this one down, and if we have a lock on like this, so when we scale X, then Y would be scaled at the same time. And of course, if we only wanted to scale X or Y, we might want to leave X the width here, and then maybe scale Y down a little bit. And then changing the position, of course, is X and Y right here. So we'll go ahead and use the Y. If we drag our mouse across here, we can easily put it right down where we want. Maybe it's a little bit big on the Y up here, so we will go ahead and scale it down a little more. Maybe we'll scale down the X also. And just go down like that. Okay, so maybe we want this to be a larger picture. That's what you wanted. You wanted to animate it appearing. I think something that would be cooler here is, how about if we animate it just appearing? In other words, we go down here to the composition section, and we see here where it says opacity. And if we set this opacity to 0, then we can no longer see it on the screen. And now if we apply a keyframe to it, which is the same thing we're going to do for resizing, and let's just say that we give it like 2 seconds before it appears, and then once we put one keyframe on there, and if you look very carefully, you'll see a little blue diamond right here on video track 2. And we moved up to the 2-second mark, and then we just increased the capacity to 100%. And if we play that back, we will see that, ooh, it fades in. Okay, so that gives us kind of a cool effect. Now, you have all of your other pictures, and you'd like for them to fly in. I'm not sure whether you want them to all appear at the same time or whatever. First of all, we could move them all over here and line them up and keyframe them, or we could just start them at this process. Here we're lining them up with this keyframe here. So until this graveyard appears, we won't necessarily have something come in. So we have some characters here. I think we should save the little ghost for last, so I'm going to just move them up to the top. They don't really have to be in any particular order. You can leave them in the order in which they are, but I'm going to start with the Halloween pumpkin. And so it's big, like your picture, and you want to reduce it to 20%. So let's go back up to the transform, and it's 100%, and it's at the beginning. So let's go ahead and we'll click this keyframe here. That will keyframe everything in the transform section, and the transform section only. If you wanted to use the composition, that's a separate keyframe. But we will simply leave it here, and you said you want to reduce it to about 20% and position it somewhere. So here it is right here, and we've keyframed that position, and let's put them down here in the corner, and we will add our keyframe, which we already did, and we don't have to press keyframe again. As long as there's one keyframe on the picture already, we just have to go to where on the timeline we wanted to, and I'm going to just turn these two guys off using the icon out here, the little eye icon, so we can only see this one. Okay, and let's make it, I'll go up to 5. We'll make it 3 seconds so it takes a little longer. And at this point now, we can now change the position. We can change the scale. And you said you want to change the scale to 20%, so you can simply click in there and type in 20. And because it's linked, both the X and the Y are immediately turned to 20%. Now, the other thing you wanted to do was you wanted to put it in some certain place. I showed you can move the X position here and the Y position here. And this gives you better accuracy. But if you don't care that much about accuracy, all you have to do is just basically select the picture on here and drag it to where you want it to appear. And now we will see that we have the coordinates. We started with it in the center, and if we use the shortcut key, Shift Home, we will move to the very first frame, and then if we play it from there, we will see it resize and move. All right, so that's our first one. Now let's have some fun with the other ones, and we will now work with this guy here, and we will, you know what, I don't know if you want them all to appear at once. If you did, you would simply leave them right here, and let me go Shift Home again, and you would add your transform key. Now, personally, I think this guy would be a little more fun if we do the opacity thing with him on that. So on our first keyframe here, we will change this to 0 so that we can't see him. And then we'll go ahead and move up. Let's go ahead and make it to the same location here, or maybe a little bit later. Okay, so we want to keyframe this up here. Okay, I got him. Yes, I got him turned on. And at this point, we want his opacity to be back to 100. So we will just drag that up, and we could scale them to 20%, like you say, but I think we're going to scale them to something other than 20%, since you already know how to do that. So in this case, instead of scaling it here, I'm simply going to scale the picture, like so. And then I'm just going to have them hover over here somewhere. Now, if you want them all to be the same size, that's fine. Then you simply type 20% in there, and then you would be identical. Now, for our last one, we have the ghost. And I think it would be more fun if we had him kind of float across the scene. But you said, I want to make it exactly the same size. Here's another way that you can make everything the same. You go ahead in on the picture that you've already sized, and you right-click on it, and then you say Effects and Filter, Copy. I noticed you could also do that with a shortcut key, Control-Alt-C. In other words, you hold down the Control key, hold down the Alt key, and then press C. And then you would copy, and then Control-Alt-V. So we'll use that. And so now we've copied the effects from here. When we do it up here and we do the paste filter in effect, then it will not only be resized, but it will also be located exactly where the pumpkin is. And then you can see there it is now 20%, and it's in the exact same location. And that's kind of cute. And maybe that's what we want to do here. But let's see, did we do anything with the opacity? No, we didn't do that. So let's go back here, and let's start him out again at 0. Oh, yeah, he is at, oh, I'm sorry, not on the right line. Be careful that you click on the right line. And then we will go ahead and change the ghost to 0. And then when we get to here, we will have him at 100%. And so all we got to do is hit this reset and it goes to 100%. But I think we should have him in a different location. So I'm going to click on the picture and just move him up here. So he won't end up exactly the same spot. Or maybe we'll have him go right here. And then we're going to have him float in over the scene. So we're going to move up a little bit more, a couple more seconds. And now we will have him float over to, okay, again, I should scroll up here because we're looking at the positions. This is what you're animating, the positions. So we will drag them down here. And then we will move him a couple more seconds, and then we will move him up over here. So now we're getting kind of a motion like the following. Our scene appears, the ghost and the pumpkin, and everything appears, and here he is floating across the scene, giving you a little bit of animation. Now, Filmora 14 has a new feature. Has a new feature that I haven't actually played with. And actually, I don't even like the fact that these guys appear here. So let's have the ghost start someplace else. Have them start up here. Okay, I goofed up there. Control Z, reverse that move. Click on the keyframe we started with. And we will start him up here. And I don't know, maybe a little bit off screen as well. Yeah, okay. Now, what I started to say was Filmora has a new thing in, it's probably under AI tools. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can find it. No, maybe it's under animation. Nope. I would have to find this again. I won't show it in this one. But they have a way to apply a curve to the video, and it's called path. But right now I don't see it. Maybe it's under mask. Nope. Tools. No, it's not any of those, and it's not animation. So I can't currently show you this. But they have a very cool thing. Oh, yes, right here. It's called Path Curve. So if we do that, we can see we have, it shows this where this curve is. We can now, let's see what they did. We can try and delete that point. And we can make this a curve. Instead of deleting it, we're going to change the keyframe to a curve. So instead of having it bounce down here and bounce up, we can now actually make it float. So this will be really cool. So to do that, I don't know why I had to switch to the default screen. Let's see if it appears on the classic screen. Yeah, I guess you could have done it here. Let's see. Path. No, I don't see it over here on the classic screen. So this is, oh yes, here it is. Here it is. This is the path curve. It's right underneath position. And if you turn that on, you can now change the curve, how it swoops up and down. And if we had another one, okay, let's just play that back. I think this will look pretty cool now. So here comes our things, and now our little ghost is going to swoop down in a curve rather than a very angular motion. And that's how you do what you want to do.